Good evening, and welcome to the regular meeting of Villa Park City Council. I hereby call the meeting to order. Steve, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Myers,
Present.
Councilmember Jones,
Here.
Councilmember McBride,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton.
Here.
Mayor Wu.
Here. Today I will ask Mr. Stephen Ashley to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. Release the flag. Repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Villa Park City Council and staff welcome you to this meeting, and we encourage your participation. If you wish to address the City Council, please complete and submit a speaker card to the City Clerk. Speaker cards can be found at the entrance to the City Council chambers. Speakers will be called up individually during the public comment section of the meetings or during the item they wish to speak on. Once the public comment period has concluded for an item, no additional speakers will be taken. Speakers will be limited to a time period of 5 minutes. Speakers will also able to submit comments in writing by 3 p.m. today. Those comments will be placed in the official record. In the celebration of our great nation 250 years anniversary, the council, city manager, and our city attorney will read an essay on the importance of the Declaration of Independence. So if you guys can excuse us for 5 seconds to put on the wig. This is fantastic.
How did they get out of this?
We pay a lot of money for
$10.
This July 4th, we celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence 250 years ago. That was the moment of the United States of America was born. The importance of the Declaration of Independence can hardly be overstated. It established for the first time in world history a new nation based on the first principles of the rule of law, unalienable rights, limited government, the social compact, equality, and the right to alter or abolish oppressive government. Please continue, Councilman McBride.
Indeed, the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence announces for the whole world to see our underlying motivation for the American Revolution. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem the most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Take it away, Councilman Jones.
The founders declared against the historical experience and beliefs of the ages 6 founding first principles, all of which were quite revolutionary at the time and remain revolutionary today. Number 1, the rule of law. Although not articulated expressly, Undergirding the entire Declaration of Independence is the idea of the rule of law. In other words, the government and the people are both bound by the law. The reason we needed to declare independence was because the British Empire was no longer following the fundamental unwritten English Constitution. Until 1776, it was just assumed that most rulers did not need to follow the law, and that huge swaths of the privileged were exempt from the laws that applied to the vast majority of the people. The Declaration of Independence declared no more. The law should apply equally to all in society, whether they be the government or the masses, the richest or the most poor. We turned the world upside down. Councilwoman Miles?
Equality. All men are created equal. This idea is perhaps the most controversial of them all because the Founding Fathers fell so short of its ideal in practice. But the Founding Fathers were the very first to proclaim that a nation should be dedicated to this belief. It is based on the belief that the Creator, nature and nature's God, created all people, and therefore we are all equal in His eyes and under our law. Until 1776, no government was established on equality. No government even declared it should be so. Inequality was the key historical reality and belief of that day. Privileged few lorded over subjects. It was done as a matter of tradition and codified into law. We fell short in our reality. Prior to the Declaration, thousands of people were enslaved. Women had no vote, no voice, no legal standing. Many who built this nation were never counted in it. The very men who signed their names to the words, "All men are created equal," went home to a reality that contradicted every word. That is falling short. That is the weight of it. And yet, that declaration, "All men are created equal," did not die. It became a promise, a standard, a North Star that generation after generation refused to abandon. A civil war was fought over it. Women marched for it. Millions demonstrated, sacrificed, and demanded that America finally honor what it put on paper in 1776. And we must never forget the men and women who paid the highest price to make sure those words survived. The soldiers who crossed frozen rivers and slept in frozen fields at Valley Forge. The young men who stormed the beaches of Normandy. The women who served, nursed, coded, and flew so that freedom would not fall. The veterans of Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan who left home not knowing if they would return because they believed this Constitution, this promise, this nation was worth dying for. They are the reason we are still here. They are the reason these words still stand. And 250 years later, here we are, still building, still believing, still proving that the promise written in 1776 was worth every generation it took to fulfill it. Happy birthday, America. Attorney Todd Litvin, you're up.
I am up. We are used to thinking we have rights that government must respect, but this was quite revolutionary in 1776. In fact, the people were subjects and had privileges, which means that the government lorded over the people and the people could only do what was permitted by the government. A right means the people do not have to seek permission from the government. Moreover, unalienable means that the rights cannot be taken away. They are born within each person and can never be taken away by the government. Alienability is an old-fashioned word for the ability to sell or transfer something. Because our rights come from God, they cannot be sold or taken away. Today, too many act like their rights come from the government, and they need to ask for permission to do things. This is not so. No other society in human society had rested on the foundation of unalienable rights until 1776. Mr. City Manager.
Number 4, social compact. The idea of the social compact is that the people have come together and created a government to protect their unalienable rights. If we don't have a government, we have the natural right to defend ourselves. But without a police force, we have to resort to vigilante justice. By allowing the government to create a police force, fire department, and military, we've given up some of our unalienable rights to self-defense and agreed to abide by the government. This means that the government rests on the consent of the people and only acts justly with that consent. Before 1776, likely no government believed in a true social compact. They usually took power by force and violence and coerced its subjects to follow its dictates. Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton?
Number 5, limited government. Because the government is formed to protect our unalienable rights, the just limit of its powers is to protect those rights and some ancillary powers. To ensure that the government remains free and just, we limit its powers and authority. In most of human history, governments were developed with the opposite belief. They were unlimited unless they carved out some privileges to their subjects. Mr. Mayor?
Number 6, reform and revolution. If a government becomes unjust and violates our unalienable rights, we have the right to reform or even abolish it. That is, after all, the whole point of the Declaration of Independence. If reform failed, the government undertook a long train of abuses with the intention to assert an absolute despotism, thank you, on the people. Then the people have the right, in fact, the duty, to overthrow the government and start anew. We are a revolutionary people and had no intention of giving away the rights we enjoy. Religious text aside, the Declaration of Independence may be the most important document in human history. It totally upended the prevailing orthodoxy about government and has led to momentous changes across the time and the world. Certainly, we have fallen short over and over again of its ideals. But without the first principles of the Declaration of Independence, we will live in the total darkness of oppression as mankind had for a millennia before. We celebrate all of this in 2026, our country's 250th year. Thank you for allowing us to read an essay of the importance of the Declaration of Independence. Oh, you already took it off? I was going to take a photo.
Oh, we're going to do a photo?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I was told there would be no photographic evidence.
Absolutely photographic evidence. This is awesome.
All
Look at
right,
the city.
let's go.
Come on, let's go.
You got to come up too. You right. You need this more than me. No.
Every day you get to see this and you get
It's so humid out.
No, in the front, so you just walk about.
Yeah, the feng shui of wing pictures.
Thank you.
Melissa, delete that. Now, do you want this back, or is it mine? Okay, okay.
You can use it for Halloween Fest. Oh, 4th of July. Wow, all of a sudden it's like 10 degrees cooler. And also in the celebration of 250 years anniversary, I invite everybody on the 4th of July, please come and join us for the July 4th extravaganza. Will be a lot of events going on. And also the city also celebrating 250 years anniversary by doing a 50 years of time capsule. The website with the form is already online. I encourage everybody, please go online to the city website and submit whatever you have that you believe is great to put in the time capsule. If you don't have any artifacts or anything at all, feel free to also leave a message for the future, your generations. Our plan is collecting all the messages or whatever your prediction 50 years from now. We will make into a book, and we will put that book into the time capsule 50 years from now. Hopefully, I will be around as an old Chinese or Taiwanese man. But our future generation will be around, and hopefully they will open it and get to see our messages. So thank you for allowing us to do this. And now we will go back to our regular agenda. I have the opportunity to attend the OUSD Exhibition of the Arts. And one of the tasks as a mayor, I get to pick Mayor's Award. As you guys, in case you have not seen, the art is behind you. I would ask the artist come up, I'm sorry, I pronounced incorrectly. Eleni, right? Yeah, right there by the microphone. If you could just bring your art up. I picked this art as my pick. This artwork just grabbed my attention. I enjoyed this OUSD expositions of arts. There are literally hundreds of arts, from kindergarten all the way to senior in high school. As a mayor, actually as a judge, we had to judge in different category, and one of the category is the mayor's choice. Her work just took me emotionally. I see a woman, the only woman looking backwards, and the rest is looking forward. To me, art is really in the eyes of beholders, or the way you look at the arts. Maybe my view or my reading of this piece of art may not be her intention, but this is what I read. As an immigrant to this country, I can see
Beanstack and participate online. For the summer reading program, we're of course part of the county system. So the county has some larger system-wide programs available. You can read all about them on the website, but I just wanted to shout out some of the highlights. So at some of the bigger branches in the system, Costa Mesa, Donald Dungan, El Toro, Garden Grove Chapman, San Juan Capistrano, and the Tustin branch, we have lunch at the library all summer long. So children and teens 18 and younger can get free lunches at those libraries during the summer. And again, more information online for that. We also have several author events hosted at those branches, and there is a teen resume development and interview skills workshop series at those branches as well. But mostly I want to talk about Villa Park. So I'm going to run through a quick, very, very quick overview. The library closes in 5 minutes. A very quick overview of the programs that we have over the next 2 months. If it's too fast for you, everything is online, or you can pick up your paper calendar next door. Last week, and sorry, I would have invited you at the prior meeting, but I had been hired a day before. So last week we were privileged to have comedic juggler Michael Rayner here. He is so funny, and we had a great turnout of 66 people right here in this room. And this week on Thursday, we'll have our family beach bingo program. On Monday, June 29th, all day we have our drop-in craft. I brought a show and tell for 4th of July. So for our drop-in crafts, you can either stop by any time of the day and make the craft with us in the library, or take the materials to go and make it at home. And either way, you'll have something to shake around at the 4th of July party on Saturday. Let's see, on July 11th, we have our next family cooking class. We're going to learn how to make our own butter, and children will learn how to prepare vegetables for a salad to go with. And on July 15th, we have a Rainbow in a Jar craft program. July 22nd, we have a pressed flower bookmarks craft program. On Saturday, July 25th at 2 o'clock, we have a family karaoke party, always a blast. And to round out the summer, on Wednesday, July 29th, we have our family fun day. That's going to be our big end of summer party. There will be a professional face painter, games. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I just wanted to run down really quickly our recurring story times. We have our pajama story time every Monday at 6 o'clock for all ages. We have our baby and toddler story time every Tuesday at 10:30 in the morning. We have a once-a-month bilingual Spanish story time. In June and July, it's going to continue to be on the first Wednesday of the month at 3:30 in the afternoon. Starting in August, we're going to move it to the first Thursday of the month at 10:30 in the morning. We're hoping that time will be more accessible for families. And for adults, we have a recurring book chat. On July 6th, we'll be discussing The Lincoln Highway by Amber Towles. And on August 3rd, we'll be discussing First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. All right. As you can see, we're very excited. We have a lot of programs going on this summer. But the big summary is all of the information is on our calendar online, on our website, or you can always stop in and ask us any questions you may have. Thank you for your time. Thank you to the city staff for being so warm and welcoming to me in my first few weeks here. I really appreciate it. And I'll be back again in August to give you our updates for fall programming.
Thank you and welcome to Villa Park. Thank you for. The next up would be Captain, Sheriff Department.
Good evening, council members, Mr. Mayor. Tonight I'll be presenting our incident summary for May 16th, 2026 to June 17th, 2026. During that time period, there were 317 reported incidents, 17 total reports taken. 0 of those were crimes against persons, and there were 5 crimes against property and society, which included a stolen property from a garage, a residential garage, and stolen tools from a job site, stolen credit cards from a vehicle, vandalism to a vehicle window, and identity theft from a bank account. And just a reminder to the community with identity thefts, especially when it's a high value loss from a bank account, that time is of the essence to report that. Literally every minute or hour that goes by is an opportunity for investigators to try to stop or freeze that money to be able to recoup it. So if anybody realizes that money is missing from a bank account, call the sheriff's department right away so we can come out, take that report, and try to recover those funds. Also during the time period, there were 2 injury traffic accidents. One of them was involving an e-motorcycle, and the other was a solo vehicle. And again, just a reminder for the community, e-motorcycles, not only do they make unsafe circumstances for our children that are riding them, who shouldn't be riding them, but also it's dangerous for other people on the road, for pedestrians, and also the parents who allow these kids to ride e-motorcycles potentially could be civilly and criminally liable. So just everybody keep their children and themselves safe. And summer's coming up with teenagers driving as well, and I would say it's a good time for all parents out there that have teenage drivers to revisit a lot of those safety points with driving. We had no non-injury traffic accidents, 11 moving citations, and 13 parking citations. That's all I had. Any questions?
Hi, Captain. Thank you for that report. I haven't seen where we have a direct line for reporting fireworks this year. I know I brought that up earlier. Are we going to be able to get that this year?
This year, unfortunately, we won't. I had some internal discussions about that, and there were some concerns about basically creating another non-emergency line for the sheriff's department and advertising that. So we're just going to have to use the regular non-emergency line this year.
Okay, because we are anticipating probably, many more fireworks than usual, with it being the 250th. And over the past few years, we have had residents complain frequently about being able to get through on the non-emergency line. Are there any plans to kind of beef that up this year?
I'll ask our Emergency Communications Bureau and see if they've been working on that. Also, I plan on having some patrol people with a drone available so that they can fly it at least for I don't want to say looking for fireworks, but at least for officer awareness. We could respond to calls a little quicker and things like that. Maybe, get some eyes on a specific area before deputies get there. It's just kind of a force multiplier.
Well, really, thank you so much for that, because we have asked for drones for the last couple of years and we have not been able to get them. So I'm actually very excited that you've got that for us this year. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, this is more, Steve, since we know that the potential use for drones for the 4th of July, can we please make sure that the residents know that? So I know there were some that had reports of weird, suspicious drones. Remember the one that was over by my house? The neighbor freaked out. So maybe we can let the residents know that if there's a drone, it's likely an approved law enforcement one and not something nefarious, hopefully, or at least let them know that if they see a drone, it's most likely the sheriff.
Well, obviously, it could be either. So we'll have to let them know that the sheriff has drones up there, but we can't say that there aren't other drones up there.
Good point.
we
Let's just
will-
make sure that
Yeah.
the residents know
Sure,
the sheriff will be using drones. How about that?
we will do that.
Okay.
All right.
OCFA Chief?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. So since our last City Council meeting on May 19th, the Orange County Fire Authority was dispatched to 53 incidents within the city of Villa Park. Of those 53 incidents, 32 of them were medical aid calls, 2 of them were hazardous conditions, and 19 of them were miscellaneous calls, which includes odor checks, auto alarms, unspecified, just generic calls that we run within the city. For this month's safety message, it's all about fireworks. Fireworks, 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 and fireworks. While we step into our 250th celebration, this is great for the country, great for the citizens, great for the community, but it's also dangerous for citizens, the community, and the states. So with that being said, we're asking residents of City of Villa Park and all our cities within the county is to obey local laws. Safe and sane fireworks are only legal in a handful of cities, and they are Anaheim, Buena Park, Costa Mesa, Fullerton, Garden Grove, Huntington Beach, Los Alamitos, the City of Orange, Santa Ana, Stanton, Villa Park, and the City of Westminster. Please only buy safe and sane fireworks that are State Fire Marshal approved, and on the State Fire Marshal, you'll see the State Fire Marshal seal on it. It's stamped on every firework that's sold in a safe and sane booth. Light fireworks outdoors in a clear area and a safe distance away from people, homes, vehicles, and flammable materials, which includes brush. Stay away from the brush. Light one firework at a time and never relight a dud. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Move on to the next one. For child safety, fireworks should only be handled by adults. Sprinklers can exceed a temperature up to 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hot enough to melt gold. Never let a child pick up a piece of firework after a show, as some still may be active or hot and cause serious burns. And a reminder to parents, parents are liable for any damages or injuries that are caused by children using fireworks. In case there is an accident, please dial 911, run cool water over every burn. And lastly, we like to have citizens of every city, and especially Villa Park, is to please attend local fireworks shows sponsored by cities and the county. Attend safe, enjoy your families, and have a safe 4th of July. Thank you.
Chief, so I noticed to Councilwoman Jones' question about a number to call. Sheriff's Department's not doing one, but looks like OCFA has one. You can anonymously report illegal or dangerous firework use by calling 714-538-3501.
Yes, you could do that. It goes anonymously to us, and then we'll be able to investigate that. Again, it's to anonymously report. It's not to get the response out by a fire engine. It's just a responsive activity, and then we coordinate with local law enforcement.
Well, staff, can we get that on the feeder?
Yeah.
At this time, we will hear comments from members of the public to address any off-agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council, provided that no action may be taken on off-agenda items unless authorized by law. We will also be hearing public comments on each agenda item. Steve, is there anyone that is present or wrote in from the public that would like to comment on an off-agenda item?
Yes, we have two speakers. Roy Berlowitz.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, my name is Roy Berlowitz. I live at 9402 Brewer Way. I'm definitely not here to overthrow the government, but I have petitioned the government about small redress for the citizens of Brewer Way. I'm joined by my wife, Michelle, and our neighbors and friends, Charles and Melody, are here, and Charles is going to give some more details about what's happening. I have a letter here, Mr. Mayor, that I'd like to submit to the City Council that provides all the details for the issues, signed by most of the residents of Brewer Way. I won't go into it. I'll let you read that at your leisure, but I will share with you that as residents of Villa Park for about the last 30 years, Michelle and I have had excellent relations with the city. It's been a wonderful place to live. I remember when Ken Dahmer came rushing to our house when there was a flood and coordinated all the fire department and water department to take care of it. It just struck us as uncomfortable for the last few months when we started the process of petitioning to do a remodel in our backyard. And it just felt like the heavy hand of government was doing us a favor by permitting us to actually remodel our house. The most strange occurrence was when there was a knock at our door, there were two maintenance workers there, and they said, the city engineer wants to know if you have permission or permits to do your remodel, which is not a question, but she signed the permit. Why would you send two employees who look really uncomfortable to come to our house? I think it was an attempt at intimidation, which was just kind of silly. And then the conversation with her was immediately adversarial. It wasn't, let's try to find what's going on, let's see if we can come to an accommodation. It just went to, we're not going to permit your upgrade to your house. That's the starting point for the conversation. So you can imagine that just gets the hackles up of residents when they hear that. We do have issues with the street. My friend Charles will share some more information with you. But it just feels like something has changed in Villa Park a little bit around the issue of permitting. And I know all of you quite well. I know that's not how you think and act. And I just hope the culture that all of you have can be brought just a little more forcefully to the city management so they understand we're not the enemy. Everybody wants to upgrade the house. We want to abide by the law. We want to do the right thing. Don't make us feel like we're asking a favor to get permission to do that. That's all I ask. Can I leave this with you? Is that okay? And if I can ask my friend Charles to follow me in comments. Thank you. Charles?
All right. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Charles Frieda, and my wife Melody and I are residents of 9375 Brewer Way. We're the residents that, when you read the letter later tonight, that are referenced that had to pay out of pocket to repair their portion of Brewer Way. To be clear, this was not a voluntary decision. We were placed in a position where we understood that our occupancy permit would not be signed off on, and our project would not move forward unless we funded repairs to a public street ourselves. As homeowners, we found ourselves facing an impossible choice. We could either absorb the cost of repairing a street that we do not own and did not damage, or face further delays in obtaining approval to occupy our home. Faced with that choice, we paid for the repairs. Those repairs were done by the same paving vendor that the gas company used initially and also was done inadequately. We invite you to drive down our street and see the damage on the new slurry coat that is 9 months old, caused by normal wear and tear that a slurry coat should not exhibit of that age. The reason we're here tonight is because the explanation now being presented to the public does not align with what we were told directly by the city engineer. When we raised concerns regarding the condition of Brewer Way, the city engineer told us that she had worked very hard to secure the funding for the road repairs and that limited funding was a significant factor in the repair approach that was ultimately selected. We accepted those representations at face value. We understand that cities operate within budget constraints, and we trusted the decisions being made were driven by those realities. However, we're now hearing a different explanation. The letter before the council states that the slurry work was provided by the utility company at no cost and that the city accepted that repair. If that is true, then we believe the residents deserve answers to some very straightforward questions. Question 1, why were residents told that limited city funding was driving the repair decisions if the utility company was responsible for funding the work. Second question, if the utility company had an obligation to restore the roadway, why were residents required to spend their own money repairing a public street in order to obtain occupancy approval? Next question, if the repairs performed by the utility company was adequate, why was additional work required from residents at all? And if the repair was not adequate, why did the city accept it? Those questions go directly to the heart of the issue. This is not simply about a road surface. It's about transparency, and it's also about accountability. And it's about whether residents can trust the information that they receive from city staff. As residents, we relied upon the representations made to the city. If the facts are different from what we were told, then the council deserves to know that, and so do the residents of Brewer Way. We also believe it is important to recognize the precedent this creates. No resident should be required to choose between paying for repairs to a public street and obtaining final approval to occupy their home. If a utility company damaged the roadway, the utility company should be responsible. If the city accepted the inadequate repair, the city should address that issue through the appropriate channels. The burden should not be shifted onto residents simply who want to complete construction and move into their homes. Accordingly, we respectfully request that the council direct staff to provide a complete public accounting of this matter, including who is responsible for funding the roadway restoration, what obligations Southern California Gas had regarding the restoration of Brewer Way, why residents of Brewer Way were required to fund repairs themselves when residents of Hazel Circle were not required to pay for the repairs themselves when their failed slurry coat exhibited signs of disrepair. And that comment was made directly by the city engineer as a representation to my wife. Next question is whether occupancy approvals were conditioned upon residents performing or paying for roadway repairs, and what steps will be taken to reimburse residents who incurred costs that they should never have been asked to bear. Ultimately, this is an issue that can be resolved through transparency and accountability. We're not asking for special treatment. We're simply asking for fair treatment and honest answers. Thank you for your time and your consideration. Thank you.
There are no other speakers.
Now we will move into our agendized public hearings. Our first hearing is the review to waive reading in full of all ordinances and resolutions on the agenda. I will now open the hearing. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the item that we do each month to allow us to conduct efficient and expedited meetings. We'd recommend approval.
Council member, do you have any question of staff?
No, I will move it.
Let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Our next hearing is on vacancies pursuant to Government Code Section 3502.3. I will now open the hearing. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. As you indicated, Section 3502.3 was chaptered in California, September 2024, requires us to annually report to the governing body about our vacancies and any recruitment process that have been taking place over the past year. This is must be a public hearing done prior to the process of adopting your budget each year. With respect to the City of Villa Park, we only have 7 full-time positions. At this point, none of which are vacant. We did undergo a recruitment for both the supervising maintenance worker and the maintenance worker. Those were filled with minimal amounts of time of vacancies. They're both filled, and we had no problem. They were filled with the outside recruitments. So the report before you is there's no fiscal impact. But all positions are filled, there are no vacancies, and we've had no issues in recruiting or filling positions. So with that, we will have completed our statutory obligation, but the council needs to receive and file this report, if you will, which...
Council member, do you have any questions of staff? Okay. Is there anyone here to speak at this hearing?
We have no comments, thank you.
The public comments section of this item is now closed. Council member, is there any discussion regarding this item? If
Move to
not,
receive and file.
thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, let's vote.
Thank you. It passes 5-0.
Our next hearing is the consideration of fiscal year 2026 to 2027 operating budget and 7-year capital improvement program. I will now open the hearing. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. As you recall, we had two public budget sessions on April 13th and May 4th to review and discuss the proposed budgets. Those were publicly aired, and you can visit them on our website should you be so interested. We have included the documentation as a result of those two hearings, the input. Some minor changes were made into the budget since our last hearing. One, we added the $10,000 for CASLAR, which you recall we approved the membership, which is I don't know what the acronym stands for anymore, but basically it's a group home task force created at the county level, and we joined it. And the Cal State Fullerton demographic study, which we have to participate in, there's 10,000 added. We had an accident on Villa Park Road, as you recall. It's $30,000 to repair, which will be reimbursed at insurance, assuming the insurance comes through, but that was added as an appropriation. We had as we talked about, we got an estimate of camera and AV system, which we were paying with PEG money, which is public education grant money that comes in as part of the cable franchise fees, $75,000. So we'll be replacing our cameras in this room with new cameras. As you recall, in 2020, when we replaced the video screens, we didn't do the cameras, which the idea was save up money and do that. So that's added $75,000. And then finally, we added the housing element, which is the completion of the housing element with certification. We have an estimate now to complete the processes necessary to move forward on both the housing element and bring our zoning code into compliance with our general plan. So those two items will be about $56,000. We put $60,000. Those are with respect to our general fund. There's about $70,000 of the $175 that was added will be from general fund, and we have sufficient funds available. So the document before you is our annual budget. It includes the operating expenditures. It sets the appropriations limit. The GAN limit is also adopted in here. And it includes our salary detail for our employees of what we'll be paying them. It also, the 7-year capital improvement plan, and in our budget, we also include a 5-year estimate, rolling estimate of where we'll be financially. I would like to state that based on the direction this council in past, the city remains in very, very strong financial position. We have a 50% general fund reserve, which is way and above the GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Association recommendation. We are well in the road to moving forward with a solid year for the next 5 years. The budget will adopt the appropriations necessary to begin our operating expense for next year. The one major contingency that remains unanswered is the sheriff's contract. They are in negotiations with the deputies. Right now, the most recent available estimate from the sheriff does not include any resolution of that, but they know they're in open contracts. What that amount will be pending, and we'll have to come back when they do that. We didn't, as we mentioned in the last hearing, I didn't include that because it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we budget a certain amount, it becomes the amount that's going to be used. So we didn't put that amount in there. We'll come back. We do have monies available to address it, and we are prepared to address it mid-year. But again, it's like sort of playing your poker hand before you have to. We don't need to call at this point. So we are in a position, a very strong financial position, and I want to reiterate our expenditures for the current year are under our budget, and our revenues are exceeding our budgeted amount. So with that, our ongoing revenues, as is always requested, our ongoing revenues if you look at the budget from a straight thing, it looks less than our operating expenditures. That's because our operating expenditures include our capital expenditures for our major street plan, and those monies we save up over the years. So those are unaccounted for cumulative savings that we add, and those cover our capital expenditures. So combined, we still have, very strong funds, reserve funds, and we're in an excellent financial position with respect to that. We do not face any of the difficulties that some of our neighbors, and you're hearing about, some of our neighboring cities do face. We're in a strong position, and again, I would encourage you, we need to be diligent in the future and not just, we need to watch every expenditure, but again, if we follow a plan and stay with it, we're going to be strong, I believe, for the next 5 years. So with that, we would recommend approval. We do not have any public requests to speak, and nor have we received any input.
Great. Council member, do you have any questions of staff?
Go ahead, you first.
Go ahead.
Staff, great job. Thanks to you, thanks to previous councils. As you stated, City of Oak Park is in strong financial shape, and we have a good reserve. Given the fact that City of Orange and the County of Orange, not so much, I actually had somebody question me about the exact thing you picked up. You know, as a business person, you look at it and you say revenues of 6.3 and expenditures of 7.7. Why are we upside down? We're deficit spending. But that's not the case, as you stated, and I just want to make sure that this is reiterated, that there's actually 1.3 being rolled over from last year, and so actually the budget actually balances. And a little inside baseball, Steve Franks always underestimates the revenue. We end up making more than he budgets, and Lee as well. And then on the cost side, we end up spending less than we actually budget. So which is why we have a 50% surplus for our general fund, which is great. And what's not mentioned in the report is our unfunded liability. I know that's if you follow government at all, there's a lot of agencies that are in real bad shape on their unfunded liability, meaning the retirement benefits, they got to pay their employees. We're now at 80.
Our health benefit is within $1,000 of being completely paid off. I think it's a little over $1,000. And we're 88% funded on our unfunded actuarial liability, and we should be in the 90%, close to 90% within the next year or so.
And that's perfect, because if you actually get to 100% or over, you don't get that money back. So you never want to be really, truly at 100%. You want to be about 90% or over 85. So anyway, staff, great job, and thank you very much.
Thank you. I was going to kind of say what you said, but wanted to also add, we have 2 former council members in the back, and as someone who's going to be considered a former council member, I think that's something that is a long history that we have always tried to maintain, that Villa Park is a balanced budget, and it's thanks to staff, current and former council members. So want to make sure residents understand we are not like Orange or others. And so thank you for pointing that out. I was going to say it, but you said it much more succinctly. And just a thank you to city staff for providing the report and the 2 budget sessions. And things are looking great, and we really appreciate you. I know the residents do as well.
All right. Everyone's good? All right. Then can we have
I'll move.
a second?
Second.
Last vote.
Passes 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Our next hearing is tentative parcel map number 2026-01 at 19272 Mesa Drive. I will now open the hearing. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. We have, as we said, you have a tentative parcel map, 19272 Mesa Drive. Caden Likens will be doing the presentation. And then we also have a public speakers, the Stemricks who live on Mesa Drive. And we also received a letter or an email this morning from a resident concerned about the drainage limits, and I believe I've circulated that to the staff, to the council as well, and the answer is there. So Caden, it's your turn.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Item number 4 on tonight's public hearing is tentative parcel map number 2026-01 at 19272 Mesa Drive. Mesa Investors, the applicant, is requesting approval to subdivide a single parcel of land that is 1.06 acres or 46,277 square feet into 2 parcels of land. parcel 1 being just over half an acre, 0.56, and parcel 2 being half an acre, 0.5 acres. The purpose of this parcel split is to construct a future single-family residence on parcel 1 while maintaining the existing single-family residence on parcel 2. The site is located in the single-family residential estate zone and has a relatively irregular parallelogram shape. Currently, the subject property is improved with a one-story, 3,019 square foot single-family residence and was constructed in 1988. The residence contains 3 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, and an attached garage. Vehicular access to the existing site is provided via a driveway approach on Mesa Drive located on the northeast corner of the site. Other existing on-site improvements include a swimming pool in the rear and mature trees and landscaping, as well as a fruit orchard throughout the lot. As mentioned, Mesa Investors is the applicant proposing to tentatively split the parcel into 2 separate parcels. Parcel 1, as mentioned, will be just over half an acre and will equate to 24,393 square feet, and parcel 2, being 1/2 an acre, will equate to 21,884 square feet. Dimensions of the property, I'll just go through the front of parcel 1 will be 169 square feet. The rear will be 149 square feet, and both sides, side 1 will be longer than side 2, 204 square feet and 118 square feet. Surrounding the existing site is existing estate low density residential zoned properties, as well as the city of Orange to the rear of parcel 2, this site in the back. In accordance with the land use element and zoning code, the minimum allowable lot size is 20,000 square feet. Each property is permitted with one single-family residence and ADU and a junior ADU in accordance with state law. As shown in the table, parcel 1 being 24,393 square feet and parcel 2 being 21,884 square feet, both parcels will comply with the size requirement. For vehicular access to the parcel in the rear, there will be an easement to grant public utility, drainage, ingress, and egress to the property owner of parcel 2. This easement is 21 feet in width and 112 feet in depth, and will begin at Mesa Drive and go to the northern property line, the front property line of parcel 2. Parcel 2 will function, the rear parcel will function as a flag lot with the vehicular access easement described above. And parcel 2 will be required to comply with the setback requirements prescribed in the zoning ordinance, which is 10 feet for the front, side, and rear, according to Article 23-6, Section 21. The existing single-family residence on the rear parcel, parcel 2, was determined to comply with the existing lot coverage requirement of 32%. As the existing residence and size of parcel 2 will be 21,884 square feet, with the existing residence at 3,019 square feet, yielding a lot coverage of 19.04%. The floor area ratio requirement applies to 2-story single-family residences, and since this is a single-family residence, this provision is not applicable. City staff did request that the applicant provide conceptual residential plans to demonstrate and confirm that parcel 1 can and will accommodate a future construction of a new single-family residence related to the on-site improvements and fully comply with the flag lot development standards in the municipal code. As that moves forward to construct on parcel 1, it will require full planning staff, engineering staff, and building staff review to ensure full compliance with development standards in the city's zoning ordinance. The proposed subdivision is categorically exempt per section 15315, class 15, minor land divisions of the California Environmental Quality Act. Public hearing notices were posted in accordance with state law. As mentioned, city staff has received one email with concerns in regard to drainage and one letter of opposition. City staff recommends approval of the proposed subdivisions for the following reasons. One, that the proposed subdivision will not result in a negative environmental impact and is categorically exempt per section 15315, class 15. The proposed subdivision is in accordance with the general plan density and lot size requirements as well as the city municipal code, and that the proposed subdivision does not create any challenging topography, contours, or easements which could preclude the construction of a future single-family residence on parcel 1. City staff recommends that the City Council approve tentative parcel map 2026-01, subject to the conditions of approval contained in Resolution 2026-3648, and find that the tentative parcel map is categorically exempt per section 15315 of the California Environmental Quality Act. I'm available for any questions the council may have, and as well, the applicant is present.
Thank you, council. Do you have any question of staff? Go ahead.
Caden, is it true that even if the council were to vote against the resolution, that the owner of the property could pursue the lot split under state law SB 9?
That is correct.
If we approve the resolution, then the conditions of approval are in effect and cannot be abrogated by SB 9. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw two nods over there, yeah. Yeah, and I would add, Mayor Wu, that the conditions of approval are very extensive, very well done and thought out, and include the 5-foot easement for the road widening that is on my personal agenda to rectify conditions up on Mesa Drive.
Go ahead.
I have a question of staff. Just a little confused, maybe it's just me. In the first part, it says that the current property has a one-story existing home at 3,019 square feet. But then further on, it talks about the lot, additionally, the existing single-family resident on parcel 2, which is the back portion, the existing, right? Parcel 2 is the existing, what
Rear
would be the
parcel, yeah.
existing, was determined to comply with the maximum allowed lot coverage of 32% based on existing footprint of the single-family residence, 4,167.
Yes, sorry, are you done?
They're different.
Apologies. Yes. So I noticed that, and in my report, I corrected myself in stating that the single-family residence was 3,019 square feet. It is my assumption that the 4,000 came from the addition of the garage, as it calls out the footprint of the house.
Okay.
In the beginning, I'm just, it's stated where I'm giving the background of the site, calling out the single-family residence as 3,019 square feet. And then it contains a three-car attached garage.
The existing home would have the upgraded garage, which would increase the square footage of the home. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that would be my assumption and how the report was written.
Because the gentleman behind you is shaking his head no.
Yeah, so that could be further clarified by the applicant.
Okay.
Yeah, the garage is existing.
I know, I'm just trying to understand again is why the two different values. One's 4,167 square feet. You're talking about the footprint, but the existing home is 3,019. So I'm just trying to find out what's the difference because we're talking about the second property.
Yeah, so the 3,019 square feet is the single-family residence. The 4,100 67 is a single-family residence and attached three-car garage.
For purposes of lot coverage, that would include the garage.
would
That's the
As well
difference.
as,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. That's what's going to be my next one is, are we sure that we did the math right on this? But it still would fall within the range. Okay, that was my question.
Okay. I believe you mentioned someone wrote in.
We
or
do have
someone's
we
here
do have
speaking.
the Stemricks have submitted a request to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. I'm kind of new at this. We just found out this last week what was going on. We've been here for 35 years, raised 4 children, all married here, 13 grandchildren. We've been involved in all kinds of things around the neighborhood. But this kind of got us by surprise a little bit. Are we assured that this is just a family dwelling? Is there going to be a family moving in? That's one of our questions. And with a large family with 6 bedrooms, and if kids are out on the streets and stuff, and we got traffic going up and down Mesa Drive, that kind of concerns us a little bit. And the house that they're building is right off the street. And you can't see the second house when the first house is there, unless you're very tall or driving a big truck. Why wouldn't it be a 2-story house? Then they could go up and have more room downstairs with the family, right? With 6 bedrooms? Just didn't. It's not quite sitting in with us about what they're going to use it for. I mean, we have other concerns that there may be other plans for this house, and with the Mesa Investment Company, do they buy a lot of houses? I mean, this is a family neighborhood that's been going on for a long time. That's what Villa Park is. Villa Park. That's what we heard when we bought our house 35 years ago. They're all, eclectic houses and nice houses, and there used to be an orchard, and it's very family environmented. There's other things going on in the city that we all know about, but nobody likes to talk about. But it's just the size of it, and what if it's something else? I mean, we don't know that. So that's one of our concerns, and then making all this property there, and then there's other houses where they're going to do the same thing all the way up Mesa. If you've been up Mesa Drive, there's some horse country up there, right? You guys been up there? Okay. To the right, there's a lot of going over the hill, looking down over the other side on the Imperial side. That's what there is over there, Cannon Road or whatever. And so what's that going to be? I mean, we're going to put motels up there? I don't know. To get what the information that we got, that we received and looked at and tried to get our hands around it in the last 48 hours, I'm trying to put the pieces together. Normally, you'd buy a house, and if you wanted that property and put a big house on it, to have the backyard and everything else, but to put another house up there. And if somebody gets in there, and we don't know who it is, and they decide to sell it later, and what they're using it for, what if it's some other thing? And now you've got the fire department has to come up and emergencies up there or something like that, if it's used for something else. There's going to be, people up and down the highway up there. It just, from a family neighborhood, and all of a sudden it sounds just a little bit different. I don't want to start a conspiracy story here, but I don't think we have all the details of who Mesa investors are. Anyways, you have anything else, babe? If you have any other questions I might have come later, I thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And if we need to talk again, I'd love to talk to you individually or as a group again. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. And I believe the applicants here, would you like to take a moment to speak, or you are good for the council?
We haven't even asked our attorney, so don't worry about it.
You're building a residential house. You have specific uses you can do.
Hey, if you're gonna,
Hold on. If you want to speak, you may come to the microphone. Yeah, so
I'm just doing the engineering.
that's okay. Just wait until you get to the microphone.
My name is Matt Bush. I do work as a land surveyor and civil engineering. I've seen the plans for this house. It's a large residential house to be put in front. It's got a 30-foot setback from the street. It's going to have like a 25-foot rear yard setback, large pool. Just looks like a large estate house. The two lots to the east already have a second house on them, similar to what this is going to be. So it seems pretty consistent with what's there. I'm not sure what kind of uses you could use a residential area for that wouldn't be illegal other than residential. So I'm kind of curious what that concern is.
Please just look forward to address the council. You don't need to address the
Okay.
public. Thank you.
That's
This
just
is not
concerned with
Q&A.
those concerns.
You just talk to us. Okay, thank you so much. So at this time, I will close the public section for this item. Councils, is there any discussion? Hold on. No, hold on. Jones.
I'll go. So I do feel that our hands are a little tied here because of SB 9. Because if the applicant does not get permission here, they can apply directly to the state for this split, and the state will grant it. And so it's really completely out of our control. By approving the tentative parcel map, we gain some control. We have these conditions under the tentative parcel map. So, and, you know, we do have very large homes in Villa Park that are occupied by very few people. My parents have an 8-bedroom home here in Villa Park for the two of them. So I don't necessarily feel like that's, you know, suspicious in any way. People in Villa Park like our space. We like having the big lots, we like having large homes, and we're very lucky to be here. For me, you know, the previous council, prior to my being on council, approved another lot split on Valley Drive, where actually one of the lots was below the half-acre requirement. So I don't really know how we could deny this at this point. Like I said, I do feel our hands are tied by the state. So that's kind of where I am with this.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thanks. So the bad and the good. The bad is change is always unfun, and we like Villa Park the way it is, and we don't want it changed. The bad is, as well, is the fear of things we can't control, with, like, for instance, a group home being opened. And Mesa Investors suddenly sets off, oh my gosh, what are they going to do with this place? Is it going to be a group home? Sadly, we can't do anything about it if it's 6 patients or less for any existing or future home. That's the bad. The good is we're going to get a home on a 20,000 square foot lot, which is exactly what our zoning is and is what we want. The good is it's a variable roof line. We have no design parameters here in Villa Park. You can build as you wish, but there's a lot of people who hate the big white box, and this is not going to be a big white box per the plans. There's actually a variable roof line. That's a good. The good is that the homes on the other side of the Stremix going up the street are all basically 2 on a very similar site plan. There's 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm looking at the Google Maps right now. So it's not totally out of character for the street. I took my 86-year-old father to his hometown of Altadena this last weekend because he wanted to see it. And his street were all essentially half-acre lot homes, just like Villa Park. There's 3 left. There's going to be 5 homes built that are like Villa Park, and the rest of it's going to be low-income 10-unit housing. We don't have that. That's the good. This is what we want. We want one residential home on a 20,000 square foot lot, and that's what we're getting. So, yes, there's some bad, but there's also some good. And those are my comments.
Thank you.
So I just want to, I have compassion for the constituents that have lived here for 35 years and see these changes. I want to point out that we are in our 6th cycle of the housing element, and the one remaining item is a pressure from the Department of Housing and Community Development to change our zoning and densify our E4 residential. And we have to respond to that in a cogent fashion. And this is the opportunity to put another home in that meets all of the requirements for E4 residential. And I cannot see that it is prudent by any measure of standard to not allow this within the aspects of preserving the community the way we see it, and furthering is, if we're already 99.9% built out, our last few lots, if we have this type of a development, then at least we can go responsibly. I'm on the committees. I'll be attending the Rose Housing Institute and trying to argue that they need to allow communities like ours. So I just need to point out to the constituents that even if we were to take it away, we lose control and it goes through SB 9, and that's not a fate that we prefer. So thank you.
Well, I'm going to be the unpopular one tonight, I guess. So I have a lot to say. First off, I don't ascribe that we should ever just concede because the state will do it anyways, and I think that's a defeatist attitude. As a member of the prior council who approved the application for the lot split on Valley, that individual was not an outside land developer investor. That individual was a longtime resident who currently still resides at that lot split, and the back house is home for his daughter. So this, however, first I want to thank staff. Great job. This is requesting that we take a 1.6 acre lot and split it in accordance with all of our general land use plans. And I understand that it is all within the guidelines of the minimum 20,000. So we're all good there. I'm not opposed to that. That's part of what our code and ordinances say. But I have some significant questions and concerns that aren't being discussed or talked about and or kind of being glided over. So first off, the applicant, probably a wonderful individual. And again, these are my comments. You don't have to agree with me, but they're mine. Usually, in my experience, you get contacted by the applicant and they say, come, we want to talk to you, want to tell you what our plans are. They reach out to residents. No, it's not a requirement. It never has been. It's just the nice thing to do. And it wasn't done. That's okay. I don't care for it, but absolutely within your right, and I'm sure someone on the council will tell me they didn't have to do it. No need. I know that. The problem is that I think it was one of the commenters said, what could they possibly do? Well, I don't know if the applicant realizes that we do not allow short-term rentals. This city would be great for a short-term rental because we're in close proximity to the beach. We're in close proximity to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm. So I know that on Las Flores, the house that was doing that up there, that developer was initially, per a conversation I had, intended to do short-term rental, realized that they weren't allowed to do that, and they changed their mind. So there are things that can happen in a residential area. It's not against the law. But we have an ordinance against it. So I don't know if the applicant is aware that we do not allow short-term rentals, and would love to make sure that the applicant knows that. So then that way there's not wasted time, money, energy, expense, et cetera. The principle behind Mesa Investors, I have a little bit of an issue with. This is someone who, based on the research I've done, purchases a property and then has a documented pattern of forming a new LLC for each individual property that gets developed under the names of Nellie Gale Investors, Blue Water Estates, Selma 320, Hideaway Estates, blah, blah, blah. All within that person's right, absolutely. But this is an outside individual and coming into an area where you've got residents that have lived there for a very long time. And when we all sit up here and we get elected and we tell everyone on our campaign trails that we're going to keep Villa Park the way it is, and then we sit here and say, but our hands are tied, that should have been part of the conversation when people stood at people's doorsteps. Because right now what it appears is that it was a great campaign slogan, but because the SB 9 and 10, we're just going to go ahead and say, oh, well, so sorry, and that doesn't sit well with me. Mesa Drive is a very narrow street. Just a few hundred yards upwards, I'm going to say up because it kind of inclines. We have another big, or a big development that was approved by the council, which has approximately will have 4 homes plus ADUs, et cetera, and a whole bunch of traffic. The council heard public comment back in March of 2025 by a lot of residents in that area that were concerned about drainage and traffic and safety related to that project. Here and now, what we're suggesting is that we go ahead and say yes to this lot split, knowing that there's an existing home and then a big home, and each one could also have an ADU and a junior ADU. So now, again, we're back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential legal, allowable homes, housing, whatever, on this very narrow street, whether or not it provides for a widening. That, again, is a whole nother, probably when I'm long gone. So the concerns about construction, traffic, road wear, cumulative impact of adding new structures along a road that was not designed to carry that kind of traffic or density is concerning, and I don't think anyone's addressing. And so for me, as a council person, it's my duty to represent our constituents, love me or hate me. But 8 years on council, I can confidently say the majority of residents don't want the complexion of VP to change. It's a small town community feel, and I anticipate that someone's going to say, well, we can't ask for intent. Well, I disagree. I think having a condition for this means that you most definitely can have a condition of use or a condition of passing it. I'm not speculating about intent. The intent was written in the applications, in the applicant's application, where it states it's a single-family residential use on both parcels. So what I'm asking is that the conditions of approval be strong enough to hold the applicant to the purpose that they themselves declared. And this matters because new residence proposed for parcel 1 is a 6-bedroom, 4-car garage, if I read the plans right. In my experience, just mine, I'm just talking about me, that size of a home and configuration from an outside investor does not attract a traditional family buyer. It's probably going to be very beautiful. It's probably going to be stunning. But then I have to ask, who would probably want to move in the back? And so now you got both parcels. So logically to me, who's going to buy the home knowing that you've got this other home right in the back? So just to me, it does not set up traditional style sale of a single family residence. So it's the exact profile, in my opinion, that works well as a short-term rental, which we don't allow, or another type of group residential use that is notoriously difficult for a small city like ours to manage once it is operating. I'm not suggesting the person is doing this, but because we didn't have any conversations, because they didn't come to us, because we can't ask them questions, because they didn't go to the neighbors, I'm left feeling this way. So I've seen this pattern play out in communities across Orange County. I think we all have. A large home is built, approved for a single family use, and within months the use changes, and by then the legal protections afforded to those operators under state and federal law make it nearly impossible for a city to intervene. And the nearby residents, who are the ones that are really impacted, I won't be impacted, I don't live anywhere near it, but the nearby residents are the ones that will be. And they are left with the consequences. So I'm not saying that the applicant is of bad faith. I am saying that the size and the layout of what is being proposed on parcel 1 warrants conditions of approval that should be specific, enforceable, and protective. Not language that protects the developer and leaves our residents with no recourse once construction is complete and the city's leverage is gone. So I would almost, I understand we're in a tight spot, SB 9 and 10, they'll just go to the state. Well, they might, or they might say it's too much work. I don't know. But I would like to have a continuance so that we can have discussions, so we can put language in that is going to guarantee it is a single-family use home, so that we can make sure we have the conversations that they know that short-term rentals are not allowed. I doubt my council will agree with me, which is okay. But I'd like to sit down with the applicant, understand their development plans in full, have them reach out to the neighbors who you're going to disrupt dramatically, and make sure that the conditions we attach tonight actually mean something, that it's not just, oh, well, SB 9 and 10. Furthermore, the infrastructure concerns I have about Mesa, they're factual planning concerns, and this council has every right and responsibility to address them before casting a vote. I know that there was a lot of conditions for the resolution, but I don't think there was a traffic study done, especially if we do all of the ADUs, or they do all the ADUs. I think that should be something that should be included in there. And asking to request to meet and have the applicant meet with residents, it's not a denial, it's just a good due process. And it's a follow-through that hasn't happened. So California law has made it increasingly difficult for cities our size to regulate changes in residential land use once structures are built and approved. And the time right now is to ask hard questions and impose strong conditions before approval, not after. If we approve this, actually our leverage is gone instead of continuing it and being able to meet and make everyone at least compromise. You know, what do they say? If everyone walks away kind of unhappy, then it was successful. Subdividing lot produces new parcels produce new structures. And in California, once structure is built, the permitted uses of that structure can change in ways that are very difficult for a city to regulate. The council is aware that Villa Park has several facilities operating within our city limits, and I don't want to be reactive on this issue. I'd like to be proactive. So for all these reasons, the newness of the LLC, the outside investor, the lack of prior relationship with the applicant, the unaddressed infrastructure concerns on Mesa, and the need to ensure the conditions of approval fully reflect the stated purpose of the application. And it changes the complexion of our city dramatically, where I think we all agree that this has been it's a quiet town and it's a quiet community. So I would really like this to be continued, to allow any member of the council an opportunity to meet with the applicant and for the applicant to meet with any of the residents to address concerns. So I want to be able to support smart development, not just, oh, well, SB 9 and 10, our hands are tied. So I'm happy to make a motion for a continuation.
There's a motion on the floor. Do I hear any second? No second. Motion denied. I just want to say, I want to make a correction on what Council Member Mayo had mentioned. This lot is actually 1.06 acre, not 1.6 acre.
My mistake. Yes, you're right. Didn't mean to say that.
No problem.
1.06. That was oops.
It just, that's a huge
Thank you.
difference.
Yeah, no, thank you for clarifying.
And the other thing I just, if I could also speak on my take on this, the applicant is doing everything correctly. Our city policy require every lot to be half an acre. This applicant, regardless whether it's LLC or individual, that just say the applicant had done their homework, subdivide the lot legally and properly according to our city ordinance. Regardless SB 9 or not, they are doing everything that's legal. I personally don't see SB 9 into this factor. I only see whether it is comply to our city ordinance, whether their intent I would love to know the intent. However, to me, intent doesn't mean anything in the sense that the owner, the applicant, can have one intent. Once they sell, there's no, I mean, maybe our city attorney can correct me. Once the property is sold, the intent, whatever agreement the applicant have with the city, is somewhat void. Is that correct?
Well, it depends. If there is a recorded covenant on the property which outlines particular uses that are allowed thereon, that is recorded, and then all subsequent purchasers are bound thereby and are deemed to have notice because it's over in Santa Ana in the files. That is called, the legal term is it runs with the land. So anybody who subsequently buys the property is subject thereto. A couple of more, though, broad points. SB9 for one, just for clarification, nobody goes to the state to get an SB9 approval. The state approved Senate Bill 9, and now it is the law of the land, and land can be subdivided into two, generally ministerially, which means it doesn't come in front of the city council. Nobody's running to HCD or the state. They're not part of it. They've adopted the law. That's one. Two, what's in front of us tonight is a pretty basic tentative tract map approval, and that is a legal requirement in state law that property owners have a right to subdivide their property if they meet certain legal requirements. And if the city council were to deny this very basic tentative tract map, we would have to have reasons why and make findings, or else we're interfering with somebody's property rights. So that's point two. Point three, as far as conditions, which gets more to the issue I think the mayor was initially asking about, yeah, you could make statements, it has to be a residential use or whatever, but state law is going to supersede what that means. And if state law allows X use on a residential property, that is going to be allowed under state law, no matter what we say as far as a condition. So to see that as some sort of panacea to remediate, okay, well, we're going to say you can only do this, that, and the other thing, that's not permissible. If what we're saying they can't do, they're allowed to do. And then 4, I think I'm on 4, might be 18. I did notice I made the CEQA exemption I referenced in the staff report. It's actually 15315 is a class 15. We listed 15332. 332 is the infill exemption, which also probably applies. So if the resolution is approved, just do it with that modification of the correct CEQA code section, which is my bad. So I think I answered the questions.
You certainly did, and that's really my point. Is the applicant is following the policy, the law. So and also the applicant is asking a subdivide of parcel. They're not asking for anything else. I just want to reiterate that, and I hope the council is really only looking at the matter on hand, not the future, the intention, what if, and so on and so forth, or the traffic, all that. That's not what the ask here. We are only looking at the subdivide of the parcel.
Well, but I will say to that point, I apologize for interrupting, Mayor. If there are traffic impacts which create an issue, that would be something looked at in the context of a tentative tract map, theoretically. Frankly speaking, I'm not a traffic engineer, thank God. There's no way one more unit creates any, positive traffic impact that would trigger a different analysis under the Subdivision Map Act. So, just to clarify.
I appreciate that analysis, but that's logically that's what I see. Just one extra home. Anyhow, I know rest of the council would like to speak also. Go ahead.
Well, your question addressed what I was going to ask the city attorney, which is there anything in the issues that Councilwoman Miles raised that would impact this parcel map. Like, we can't place conditions on how they use their property. If they want to put in ADUs, state law supersedes. Is there any issue that she raised that would materially impact our approval of this TPM?
Well, in the end, whether the project meets the required findings, which are outlined in the resolution and the staff report, is at the discretion of the city council, whether it meets those requirements or it doesn't. If specifically, though, as to the question, can the city impose conditions on things that are allowed under state law? We could put in a condition, but I can't enforce it. So the answer would be no in that regard.
Yeah, and it would not be something I would want to do to spend staff time to impose something that we are not able to enforce. So thank you for that.
Any other discussions?
Just a clarifying comment. I appreciate the mayor's clarification. I just want to say that for me, I do take into account traffic and whatnot, even though you mentioned this is just simply a lot split. That's not how I come to my decisions. So just wanted to make sure I'm on record showing that you may do it your way, I do it my way. And that's it. Thanks.
And that's the beauty why we have 5 council members on the dais. So
Yes,
thank
yes.
you. Any other further discussion? Otherwise, can I entertain a motion with the correct numbers, secret numbers?
Councilmember McBride makes the motion that we accept the item number 4 with the modification.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Let's vote.
That passes by a 4-1 vote with Councilwoman Miles opposing.
Okay, you got the number, right? 53312, just throw that. No, 315. It's class 15.
All right, I hope the applicant will, in good faith, hear all the concerns and do it correctly and properly and take the concern and be good neighbors. Thank you. Now we will consider our consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are considered routine and are usually enact by one motion, approving the recommended action listed on the agenda. Any member of the city council, staff, or the public may request an item be removed on the consent calendar for discussion or separate action. Council members, are there any items from number 5 to 13 that you would like to remove from consent calendar?
Mayor, number 7, please.
Okay. Number 7, Ann?
I would like to remove numbers 10 and 12.
10 and 12. Any other items? Okay. Then can we vote on the balance minus 7, 10, and 12?
That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Okay, let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Okay.
Me first.
Go ahead.
Okay, on the minutes for item number 2, I think it is, the variance 2026-01, you have me listed as a yes vote, and I was 100% an abstain, because it was a discussion about not being allowed on the property, and I didn't feel confident making a yes or making a decision when I was not allowed on the property. So that was an abstention. And I went and viewed the video to make sure. But please, for the record, change that. I was not an aye.
For item number 2, which was the wall on Valley Drive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Isn't that the one? Isn't that the one with the the pool where the looking down, it's not the one up on the circle, it was the Valley Drive. I was abstained. The other one had a pool that was the retaining wall and something, and that was on that, that was the next one, I think. That was Fernando Circle. This one is Valley where the chain link fence and the pool. I asked, how do you know it's really in the front yard?
Okay.
That one. Good? Yeah, okay, so
Move to approve with the change.
that it's an abstention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Move to approve with the change of the minutes to Miles' abstention.
Correct. Second.
Okay.
That passes by a
got it,
5-0
got it.
vote.
Thank you.
Yes, so agenda item 10 is the review of and response to the 2025-26 Orange County Grand Jury Report titled Wildfires Hit Home. And I just wanted to pull this item in order to highlight how proactive we have been here in the city of Villa Park. So well in advance of this grand jury report, we held 2 town halls in collaboration with the American Red Cross, Serrano Water District, Municipal Water District of Orange County, the Water Emergency Response Organization of Orange County, the California Department of Insurance, the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and the Orange County Fire Authority. We revamped our website in order to make it easier for our residents to locate information in case of emergency, and we have placed our town halls and resources on our city website so that residents can view them and get this important information at their leisure. Many of the recommendations that are in this grand jury report were highlighted in our town halls, such as maintaining defensible space around your home, the availability of home assessments, courtesy of Orange County Fire Authority, and home hardening techniques. So while the report is extremely valuable, we're happy to report that many of the recommendations come as reminders for our residents instead of new information. And I would like to thank Mayor Wu for working on this program with me, and would like to thank city staff for all their hard work and collaboration on this. So just really happy to see a report come out that we've kind of already done all our homework on this. So it was great to see. Thank you. So I will move the item.
All right. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. That's votes.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Thank you. And then you got item 12.
Yes, so then item 12 is SB 707, and I had some conversation with the city attorney about this, but I'm still really curious because we have on our exhibit, if disruption prevents remote access or participation to our meeting, the city council shall recess for a minimum of 1 hour, which I'm sure, you know, everyone thinks is very disruptive. If we have to take a minimum of an hour recess if there's a disruption. So when I was looking at the actual text of SB 707, it says the eligible legislative body shall not reconvene the open session of the meeting until at least 1 hour following the disruption or until telephonic or internet service is restored, whichever is earlier. So the city attorney and I were having a little bit of a talk about it because he was looking at the legislative council's digest, which says recessing the open session for at least 1 hour. Now, when you're looking at these bills, what takes precedent, the legislative council's digest or the actual bill text? I guess is my question for the city attorney, because that I just read is in the bill text. It says that whichever is earlier, because it would be great if we only had a 5-minute disruption. You know, say we have to recess. It'd be great if it was fixed in 5 minutes, if we could come back in 5 minutes, rather than having a full hour. So, and we didn't really have much time to talk before the meeting, so I'm asking the question now, which takes precedence?
Well, the statutory text takes precedence, but you look at the entirety of the statutory text. And if you read those two sentences you just read in connection, you can't have it where it says you have to adjourn for 1 hour, but then otherwise you can do it if the technology pops up earlier. Because if you have to adjourn to an hour away, you can't start the meeting earlier. That would violate the Brown Act. So when you read it all together, it means you have to be at a minimum of a 1 hour adjournment before you can come back. Now, this doesn't matter because there are many horrible lawyers in the world. Every lawyer interprets it that way. That's what the legislative history says, what you can rely on if it's ambiguous. Two, in reality, it isn't really the problem because what happens in every time, this happened to me last week in Adelanto because we're redoing our city hall. So we're meeting at our baseball stadium and stadiums don't have the best tech. So we had a problem and we were just like, hold on a second, and we fixed it, so we didn't even have to adjourn, we just fixed it. So that's in reality what happens. And also, now this does get me going, this is a problem because people use too many commas. And this, I used to argue, the one thing I agree with the current the current mayor of Irvine about is people don't know how to use commas anymore. People use them way too, I am a big anti-comma guy. Wow. And this is a problem because somebody put a comma, I call it a reverse Oxford comma. I don't know if anybody knows grammar. Yeah, I might put on multiple wigs because I'm a bit ticked right now. So I completely get what you're saying is commonsensical. You can read that last sentence. If you just look at that sentence, I understand what you're saying, but that's not how the law actually works in this context. And I don't think it's really going to be a problem. So that's my take on it. But
Okay.
fair
We
point.
will definitely defer to you. And,
Yeah.
and
I swear, Larry and I argue about commas.
Something new about our city attorney.
Yeah,
and we can give him a whole bucket of
I
commas.
can geek out if you want. Yeah, I mean. I'm
So-
second.
So I just wanted that clarification. So thank you so much for your explanation. So I'll go ahead and move item 12.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
Let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Our first item of new business is the consideration of resolutions pertaining to the general municipal election on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the action that's required by state law that we have to consolidate, that we don't have to, but it is our recommendation that we consolidate our election, call for the election for the city council member in which there'll be 3 seats available, which will be Tuesday, November 3rd. So this is the action necessary to call the election and to start the process. It is required, and we have to, after subsequent approval by the city council, we need to forward that to our county registrar of voters, who will incorporate that into the process, and they run the election for us. So this is an action necessary by state law to process a general municipal election on November 3rd, 2026. So we'd recommend approval.
So moved.
Great.
Second.
All right, let's vote. Come on.
It says fail.
No elections.
Oh, we got to take an hour adjournment.
Did you put a comma on that?
Oh, wow.
Shoot, comma. We have, yeah.
Kelly.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Our next item of new business is award of contracts for fiscal year 2024 to 2025 street rehabilitation project. Staff, please give the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. This is, I got a question from 2 of the council members about this. This is the 2024-2025 street rehabilitation project, and we're in 25-26, soon to go into 26-27. The reason it's labeled that is because we started the process in 2024-25, in which we identified the streets. We then subsequently went out to bid for the design, receive the design, and subsequently go out to bid for the construction and the construction management. These are low bid contracts, so RJ Noble, which is a very reputable firm, came in with the lowest bid. 10,000 less or 9,000 less. Onward Engineering is the construction management firm that came in with for the management and inspection services. The streets are listed as, the bids are listed there, and the streets are listed that are then, there are 11 streets. Just for the record, all of the streets, with the exception of 2, have a PCI, or a pavement condition index, of below 70. All right? There are 2 that have it above that. Verde Lomas, which has an issue of ponding and issue in drainage because of the way it's collected, so there's a curbing and drainage issue. And Valley Drive, which we know has cracks, and I think Councilman McBride has pointed out that they're getting worse. So both of those have a mid-70 range, which are not good by index, but those are all, the top 9 of the 11 have a very low index, and the 10th and 11th have specific issues. This is low bid, and with work being started, the bonding and everything will start, the insurance certificates, et cetera, will start, depending upon council action tonight. Work would begin in July, with the hopes that majority of the work, or a lot of the work, gets done in August, hopefully in time for school to be done, but depending on weather conditions and whatnot. So we would recommend approval, and we're available for a question. It is a public works contract, which does require low bid awards. So we are at that point. But interestingly enough, the bid came in slightly under our engineer's estimate, which is a good thing. So that's a good sign. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's a good sign. So anyway, with that, we'd recommend approval.
Council member, any question? Go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment that R.J. Noble did Cerro Villa, and it's excellent work, and it's holding up very well. So they are definitely a reputable contractor.
I believe they're local too, aren't they, in Orange County? Yeah.
I was just going to ask or comment or sensitive based on the public comment earlier. Was this the company that participated in Brewer Way?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I'm assuming you're talking about R.J. Noble.
Yes.
Yeah, no, R.J. Noble was not involved in any action. They've done, like, I think the street, the prior, but that's it. They haven't done any other streets, I believe, in Villa Park, at least in my recent memory.
One of the reasons that they are so economical is that they recycle their own asphalt, and they have their own asphalt plant to produce it. So other companies have to buy the raw materials, and they are vertically integrated with that.
City Manager, back to Councilwoman Miles' question. The person who did Brewer and Hazel, we didn't contract with them anyway. It was the Southern California Gas Company that contracted with them. And
That's
do you have any
correct.
idea who they used?
That's correct, and it was a slurry seal that was put on. This is a pavement grinding down, very different process.
Yeah.
So this is a very different kind of work being done on these streets as opposed to what was done on Brewer and Hazel.
Any idea who the gas company used?
We do. They're not on the list.
Okay, good. I mean, as a Hazel resident, they did a rotten job because they picked up the cones too soon, and they drove their trucks, and everybody else drove all over the street after they did it. Anyway, I share Brewer's frustrations with the job they did. While this may be the next agenda item, so sorry, Mayor, if I'm skipping ahead, but if we're out doing PCIs, can we do a PCI of Brewer, or is it an added cost to do a PCI?
We did do a PCI in March, and that index was in excess of 90 for both Brewer and Hazel.
And that was prior to the construction that the two applicants did? Or after the construction?
I can't tell this, but I don't know for certain when that was done. It was done in March, so I don't know when the street was redone.
Is the cost to PCI one street a big cost to have someone eyeball it?
Certainly, we could do that. Like I say, I don't think you're going to find that the street is that much different in PCI rating, but certainly we can look at that. I just can't tell you the timing. It was.
I don't want to do it if it's a big expense. Is it a?
So we do it every year, I believe. Every other year, we have to do PCI by law, the review. So our next, my only suggestion is that we have streets in the past that the council's asked us to look at specifically and address as part of our next analysis of what we're doing. With no doubt in my mind, Brewer and Hazel, neither one of them will be close to the streets that we've identified as a 60, below 70 ratings. I would be very, very, very sure of that. But I can certainly look into it. I just can't answer it off the top of my head what the timing was and what it would be.
The cost of that, I think that's what Mayor Pro Tem is actually.
I can't speak to the cost of what they would review and what would they ask for.
Okay. Any other question pertain this topic?
Move to approve item 15, award of contract.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote. Thank you.
Our next item of new business is the adoption of year 2026-2027 street project list for SB1 road maintenance and rehabilitation accounts. Staff, please give staff report.
Thank you. Each year, we are required to submit to the California Transportation Commission, the state, our listing of projects that we're doing. This is the exact same list that we just awarded the contract for. Councilwoman Jones came in, and she does make a valid point. The way the formatting of this is very disjointed and does not make intuitive sense in how you follow the attachments. Unfortunately, this is a state prescriptive process in what we go through, and we're required to submit it that way. I can't answer why the state puts it this way, but if you look at the list, duplicate of attachment, the item before and attachment 2 are identical almost, but they're not labeled that way. I would give, we did look into it. Our last process, we did get rejected, and we had to resubmit because we didn't submit it in the correct format. So we're now adhering to the state format because that's where we get approval to move forward on our project. So anyway, it is not intuitively something you look at and say, this makes sense. It doesn't. And I agree with Councilwoman Jones, but it unfortunately is, not everything from Sacramento makes sense. I would leave it at that. So we'd recommend approval.
Any question from the council of staff? No. Any discussion? Otherwise, can I hear a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Let's vote.
Passes by a 5-0 vote.
Our last item of new business is the First Amendment to the Kimberly Horn and Associates, Inc. contract for the housing element and implementation plans. Staff, please give staff report.
Thank you. This is, as you recall, Kimberly Horn is our second contractor. Our first one retired on the job because it was a very laborious process. We had 6 iterations of a housing element that was submitted to the state. Went through a significant amount of consultant money as far as the process. But there's a number of items that we still have, and I think they're identified in the staff report, that we need to finish through and move more forward on. We also need to take action to bring our zoning code consistent with our general plan. And those actions will require us to move forward with another $51,000. And the question I did receive, which is one that Councilwoman Miles brought up, is we're asking for $51,000. Yes, the reality is we would have not had to spend, we probably would have gotten an original contract if we didn't have 6 iterations of the plan that had to previously submit. So HCD, you'll go through a laborious process each time, and hopefully Councilman McBride can talk us into a more common sense appraisal this time. But anyway, bottom line, this is sort of the residual effect of the process. It's more costly for local entities, and it's not programmatically, it doesn't make sense. It's a lot of extra effort that we go through, and it just doesn't work for the community. That being said, we do need to move forward with it because 2 things can happen. The state can penalize you if you don't move forward and take away your certification, which they have threatened to do in other Orange County cities very actively, in fact. And number 2, we want to continue, keep in mind that cycle 7 they're just starting the process of that. So we don't want to be penalized because we haven't followed up on cycle 6 elements. So with that, we're recommending approval. Kimberly Horn got us to the the goal line that kept moving, but we got it there, and we recommend them moving forward on this. Hopefully, we have a much easier process finalizing this and moving into cycle 7. With that, we recommend approval.
Thank you. Councilmember, do you have any question of staff? No questions. Then any discussions? Go ahead.
Again, this is what I was alluding to prior, is that the things that are outstanding on this priority have to do with further densification in our zoning code. So it's unfortunate that we have to spend this money, but if we don't get on top of it quickly, it flags us, and then also the 6th cycle as we begin in August for a 2-year process to get the RENAs adjusted ends up even worse. And I'm trying to get a small city voice into this, and I can bring this specific item to and proselytize it, that look at the percentage that we have to spend in addition to conform to stuff that we are already 99.9% built out. So please, at some point or another, have some mercy on small cities.
Any other discussion? Otherwise, can I entertain for a vote?
Move to approve.
Any second?
Second.
Let's vote. Now we will discuss the city manager's report.
Thank you. A couple things I just want to mention. One, there was, by my authority, I'm allowed to approve an administrative adjustment. So there was an administrative adjustment that we made for a patio covering that's less than 10% increase. For a patio covering on Sharon Drive, I'm going to think 18231 Sharon Lane, which is consistent with the codes, et cetera, which was a very slight deviation, a 2-foot deviation. With respect to another thing is I mentioned, and I think I copied all of you on, D.R. Horton has indicated that they intend to, hopefully, in their mind, resume hauling along for the Mayberry 22 project, if you will, which was the homes that we had to deal. We ceased the pedestrian crossing guard with the end of the school year, and there was no need to have that one. So we contact. To their credit, D.R. Horton advised us that it may extend into August with this if they resume, maybe even a little longer. So we may need to resume that process, and they're willing to step forward and pay what needs to happen to, as long as the hauling once the hauling continues. If it moves into the school year, hopefully not, then we'll be able to get another crossing guard out there for the duration of that. I would also mention that the city of Orange has indicated, again, I know I sent this out to you, there's a negative declaration they're circulating for Santiago Canyon, the project out there, which involves, is it 30 homes, I believe? 30 homes, and it's on Nicky Way and Santiago Canyon Road that they'll be developing. So we are looking at that. That will be, again, 30 homes that are not there now that will be there, and it will be involved some hauling. So this is a precursor to an even larger development out there in East Orange. So we have that sort of issue facing us, and I've been in contact, not yet got the information I want from Orange. I'm hoping that we can divert hauling, because as we move further out there, Jamboree and some of those other roads become much more of an option than when it was with Mayberry. So I'm hoping that we can get there, because I don't want to be having to go to a Orange City Council meeting at the last minute, like our Mayor Pro Tem did this last January. So I'm hoping that we can get there, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that we are aware of it. We don't have the answers yet from Orange, but it is the same developer that is doing Mayberry 22, and Mayberry 22 is the homes over here. So just giving you an FYI that whole development process is continuing in East Orange. Our efforts are going to be focusing on minimizing the impact on our roads and our residents with respect to hauling and whatever else construction that might be occurring. So with that, the budget, again, every year I started when 45 years ago, I started as a budget analyst, and I always considered that when you finished, we had a sort of it was a New Year celebration, because July 1st is a new year for a budget cycle. It's always one of the biggest days of things. So you guys approving the budget today is a big step, and I've always sort of there's 45 down in my book, and I want to thank you, because that's a big step every year. That's what enables the city and all jurisdictions to continue operating. And I thank you for your diligence in that, because it is a much bigger step, and the fact that we very proud that we have a balanced budget, and we are in very good financial condition. When I read even cities that master plan communities that surround us and in a very close proximity are potentially considering operational deficits, I sort of have to look at our budgets, and I go to city manager meetings, and I sort of just keep my mouth closed and have a sense of pride. So I think you guys all deserve a lot of credit for that, and past councils and current council, and Lee, of course, for doing everything she does. We can match our budget with the best of them. So that's something that you guys should hold your head high. The residents need to know that too, because there is no initiatives being planned or even considered here, and the city of Villa Park has no debt, which is something, again, a phenomena, if you will. The only debt we have is the unfunded liability, and we have put 88% of that money aside. So we're in moving toward a foreclosure. So with that, I just wanted to share those things. And again, we had an accident I shared with you that unfortunately we had a Cybertruck take out some of our trail, and we found some of Robert's bunting in the middle of a car, front hood. So we know where some of that is. But anyway, so we are on that, and we'll be working with the insurance company to get it repaired. And I don't think you're going to get the bunting back, though, unfortunately, because it's in the middle of a Cybertruck front hood. Anyway, with that, I may be able to answer any questions. But again, thank you for all your patient support during the budget process.
Any question from the council or comment? No? Well, thank you for the report, and I just hope Sheriff Department will not force us to become a deficit since they have not finalized their yellow. Yes. All right.
Is the managers up? I don't know if the managers are up too. So you're going to get what they get.
He has no speaker. You're safe.
All right. So the next item is our first item of mayor and council member matters is the proclamation recognizing USA 250th anniversary. Staff, please give the staff report.
I defer to Councilman Miles and Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton, who asked that this be put on the agenda.
Thank you. So in 11 days, on July 4th, 2026, the United States of America will turn 250 years old. This milestone has a name. See if I can do it without screwing it up. The semi-quincentennial. A word as grand as the occasion it describes. A quarter millennium of democracy, a quarter millennium of freedom, a quarter millennium of ordinary citizens in rooms just like this one, standing up, showing up, and doing the hard, unglamorous, essential work of self-governance. We have only celebrated milestones like this twice before in our nation's history. Then the centennial in 1876 and the bicentennial in 1976. This moment right here, right now, this summer belongs to us. And the world is watching. The FIFA World Cup is being hosted on American soil this summer, with matches scheduled on July 4th itself. On our nation's 250th birthday, billions of eyes around the globe will turn toward the United States of America, the oldest constitutional republic in the world. Tonight in Villa Park, we are proof that it still works, that government of the people, by the people, for the people has not perished from this earth. I am proud to be an American. I'm proud to serve this community. And I am honored to bring forward this proclamation along with Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton, recognizing the semi-quincentennial, aka the 250th anniversary of the greatest nation on earth. And I want to say God bless Villa Park and God bless the United States of America. And I'm happy to read the proclamation, but I just would hope that our council would agree to move it as an item to be approved. That's my motion.
All right. Let's vote.
Oh, mine's not working. And can we put this on the website so that the residents know that? That'd be fantastic. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Now it is time for council members' meeting attendance reports, starting with Law Enforcement Advisory.
No meeting.
Next person up will be Villa Park Community Services Foundation.
July 4th at 9 a.m., we'll start the lineup at Saravilla Middle School at the corner of Nichols and Serrano for the big parade. Decorate your bikes, decorate your dog, decorate yourself, and come on down and join the parade. We've had some great turnouts the last several years, and I'm expecting this one to be even better. And I just found out this afternoon at 10:15, the parade starts at 10 a.m. At 10:15, we're going to have a Tiger Squadron flyover with smoke, 4 planes from, I think they're World War II vintage. I could be wrong, but anyway, vintage planes are going to fly over at 10:15 during the parade. So that's pretty exciting. The city council will be there at the beginning of the parade, and then all those kids. And then when we get back to Saravilla, the corner of where Nichols and Serrano meet near Mark's Circle is going to be blocked off, and it's going to be the Villa Park block party with a dunk tank, with music, with a pie eating contest, and then onto the Saravilla campus. There's going to be a concert at the amphitheater. There's going to be more games, food trucks, all kinds of wonderful, wonderful things, and that's going to run until 2 p.m. So 9 a.m. lineup for the parade, 10 a.m. the parade starts. The parade ends at about 11, and from 11 to 2, it's the block party and big extravaganza at Saravilla. So I hope everyone shows up for our semi-quincentennial.
You said it much better than I did.
I want to say that there will be extra enforcement this year for our fireworks, and there is a fireworks ordinance, so I know the mayor has put something out. But I think it's really important as we talk about celebrating the afternoon, et cetera. There will, in fact, be some more significant enforcement this year on illegal use of fireworks. So I just want to make sure that people are aware. They can celebrate, but keep it within reason.
Thank you. Next person, OUSD.
So there was a virtual meeting on June 15th. However, I was unable to join because of connectivity issues, and many others were also unable to join as well. So the meeting is going to be rescheduled for later in the summer with the same agenda. So I was able to get some notes for the brief meeting that was held, and crossing guards and community partnerships will be top on the agenda, but that's all I have to report on that.
Thank you. Bridges at Kramer Place.
No meeting. I'll say it slower. No meeting. Take a sip of water.
Okay, thank you. Now it's probably cheaply made in China. OCFA, next.
Orange County Fire Authority, we have our meeting this Thursday. The labor contract is on the agenda. That's going to be a big item. I went to the OCFA graduation on June 17th and represented our city there. We don't have any new recruits coming to 23s, our station, but I did congratulate all the, I think, 55 new graduates. Probably the biggest thing that happened was certainly the Garden Grove incident, and I think it really goes to show that we are lucky to be part of a all-hazard agency fire department with Orange County Fire Authority, that they can do everything from a medical aid to a structure fire to something that was probably way beyond what they ever imagined as far as a hazardous material incident. And I think that they got a really big win. It could have gone very poorly with either an explosion or with a catastrophic leak. And I know 50,000 people were displaced, and that was horrific for them. But it could have been a lot worse with 50,000 people being injured. And so I think they had the greatest outcome you could possibly have. No one was hurt. The event kind of wound down and through a slow leak, and so I think it was really a great win for the Orange County Fire Authority. And again, as a small city, we're lucky to be a part of that agency. So that's it.
Thank you. Next person, Orange County Library Advisory Board.
No meeting.
Next person, Friends of VP Library.
We had a great meeting, and it was a lot of fun to meet Megan, and she hyphenates her last name, but Munger is it, and Charlie Munger is one of my heroes, and I was waiting to get investment tips from her. He's one of the founders of Berkshire Hathaway, of course. So, but she's very enthusiastic, and we're looking forward to incorporating, and she came up and gave a nice speech about all the events she's having, so we're back on track.
Thank you. Next up would be the, Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District.
Again, I'd like to point out this is Mosquito Awareness Week, and so please utilize the websites that we have over at the Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District, and you can find out more about that. We had, what they do is they set traps around the county depending on the risk factors of vectors through the mosquito population. And so they take those mosquitoes and then test them. The hot button now is West Nile virus. 5 cities have been identified with a mosquito positive, but we have no positive cases of West Nile virus yet in the county. But because there were 5 mosquitoes that show up, and understand that this is carried through birds. So when the mosquitoes bite the birds that have West Nile virus, then they become infected, and that's what shows up in the trap. But there's only 5 of them. So Newport, Buena Park, and a few other ones that are down. And I want to let the citizens know here in Villa Park that we are low risk for West Nile, which means that we have less than a 500 count total at the end of the year for those positives and that kind of thing. So it shouldn't be a problem this high up into the foothills, but again, Mosquito Awareness Week, if you don't like them, drain your pots, keep the water down, and contact the OC Vector Control if you have an issue or you see too many of them. They'll come and inspect and find out what there may be a cause.
Thank you. Next person, Orange County Older Adults Advisory Commission.
Thank you. The meeting was held on June 12th, Friday, June 12th. And there was a presentation from the UCI Senior Healthcare Center and Geriatrics Medical Team. And again, the Silver Tsunami, which is what's happening in Orange County. So it was really emphasizing the crisis in geriatric care, which is a realization that Orange County is facing. And the presentation talked about optimal aging and empowered longevity and how to treat and support that optimal aging. And so just some stats, just because they're very interesting, actually. So there's 810,000 adults aged 60 and over, which is 25.3% of Orange County residents. A 46% growth in that 60-plus population is projected by 2040. The median age in Orange County is 45.7. And then by 2040, nearly 1 in 4 residents will be age 60 or older. So persons living with dementia, there's an estimated 81,000 Orange County residents age 65 are living with Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia. And those are just the ones that actually get treatment. And usually by the time you recognize something that it's impacting you, you probably already lived with it for years prior. That is projected to grow from 81,000 to 110,000 or more by 2040. So making sure our county is able to give care in the geriatrics. And it was a very positive presentation by the UCI Health, and I can forward it. We can put it on the feeder. That's it.
Thank you. The last one is OC SAN. I just want to report that in May meeting, the board has nominated and elected City of Orange Council member John Dumitri to become the new chairperson of the OC SAN Board of Directors, and also nominated and elected the City of Brea Councilmember Christine Merrick, thank you, to be the vice chairperson of the OC San board. The construction on Taft is continue going on, is almost done. Is being completed in 6 phases. They are each anticipated take approximately 3 weeks. Crews are currently in the phase 2, with all phases expected to be completed by the end of the summer. Once schools are on summer break, crew will return on Tustin and East Taft to complete final paving and striping. So more information, you can go on the ocsan.gov/Taft website to get more information. Thank you. Now we will hear individual council information items or announcements, starting with Councilmember McBride.
So on the 9th of June, I attended the Southern California Association of Governments Regional Planning. We had a Zoom meeting initially on transportation issues for that one, and then we had the regional meeting prior to that. I'm trying to embed myself on the housing committees that are beginning now, and so they're selecting those people. Hopefully, they may select me. I don't represent a lot of votes, but you never know. And so that was a great networking opportunity with many of the other council people around. On 6/15, I attended the OC Municipal Water District's Water Forum. We had the entire Serrano Water Board there. Jerry Vielander is retiring this next month, and we'll have his retirement party over at the Serrano Water District. And the focus of the Water Forum was a construction of a very large reservoir project in Northern California to be able to store delta water, normally lost to runoff, and then for use in drought years. So it's a several $100 billion project that may allow, even though we don't utilize the exterior water from the Colorado River or the Delta or some of the other sources, it takes pressure off of the Serrano Water District and those of us in Orange that take water out of the aquifer. So it's a good thing, and it makes sure that we know, what's going to happen in places like the Colorado River watershed, where they are facing drought conditions over several years, and then they're going to start wanting to access our aquifer to relieve that. So that was the focus of that topic. On the 18th, I did the SONGS tour, which is the decommissioning of the San Onofre nuclear power plant. Southern California Edison and San Diego Gas and Electric share that. However, I was astonished to find out that San Diego Gas and Electric does not generate any of their own power. They buy all of their power from the grid. The plant has been shut down for 12 years, but it was fascinating to hear about nuclear power, and we still have one operating up at Diablo Canyon up by San Luis Obispo. So again, these are issues that affect us all. There's a big time grid going on. It's a very expensive project to tear that down, so I was interested to see how the money is being spent. And there is $44 billion reserved to take care of the spent fuel, and they have no answer of what they're going to do with the spent fuel. So the spent fuel will remain in San Clemente at San Onofre until such time as the government can figure out what they want to do with it. And so I asked, well, where's the $44 billion? I'd love to be that investment manager. He goes, it doesn't exist. It's an IOU by the state government. So if they ever do figure out a way to dispose of it, theoretically, we owe them $44 billion to get it done. So it was a fun trip. So anyway, that's the end of, I attended a few other events, but, let's move on. Getting late.
Thank you. Councilmember Biles?
Come back to me because I'm looking for my notes.
Yes, so before I give my council member report, I would like to comment on a situation that's come to my attention recently. We have a property here in Villa Park that has been able to get around our city ordinance requiring a 30-foot front yard setback by placing their front door on the side of their home, which only requires a 10-foot setback. This home is on a corner, so they are able to access their home via the side of their home on a different street. So by doing this, they're able to utilize their 30-foot front yard setback as backyard space by blocking it off with trees or a low fence. And while this is mainly an issue that only affects homes on corners, I feel it would be useful to tighten up our existing ordinances so we do not have any more of these homes that are built up only 10 feet from the street. So we cannot discuss this because it's not on the agenda, but the guidance I have gotten from the city manager is he would have liked me to present this and ask for a second to place it on a future agenda to modify our ordinance. So would anyone like to join me on this?
Yeah, I'll second that. McBride.
Thank you very much. So Steve, if you could put this on a future agenda, sponsored by myself and Councilman McBride. So then moving on with my council member report, I was happy to attend the Southern California Edison Government Advisory Panel meeting. SCE provided a lot of very valuable information on PSPS outages and wildfire mitigation in California. And I will be working with SCE and the city to share some of these resources on the feeder and the social media. I am still working with SCE to see exactly what I can share, but I will share a couple of items now. 15 of the 20 most destructive fires in California history have occurred since 2015. So when our residents say we never used to have these power shutoffs, it's really important to note that these are unprecedented times that we are in right now. And we are really in a time that you can't look at 30 years ago and what was happening with wildfires at that time. SCE is anticipating PSPS shutoffs for 2026 and 2027. They saw a large increase in fire activity last month in May, which reflects how dry and receptive the vegetation is becoming. Moisture levels in the live vegetation in May were at levels more typical of late June or early July. So their research shows that fire activity will continue to increase within our region, with larger multi-thousand acre fires becoming more common in Southern California. This summer is also expected to be hotter than normal, with the potential for a more active thunderstorm season across the mountains and deserts. And there will be increasing chances for PSPS activations during windy periods moving forward. On a good note, SCE is increasing its use of drones during PSPS patrols to support efficient inspections for power restoration. So for all this, anticipating this going forward, what can we do? What can our residents do? So if you could go to marketplace.sce.com to get information on their rebate programs for portable generators and portable power stations, and determine where your home is. If you are in a high fire risk area, which we do have a small area of Villa Park that is, and if you live with someone who relies on medical or assistive technology, you may qualify for their in-event battery loan program if you receive a PSPS notification. So the best time to gather this information on whether or not you qualify is now, not during a PSPS outage. So please go online and contact the CPUC and let them know that you support undergrounding of SCE equipment. In 2026, SCE requested over $4.2 billion to underground their lines. The decision by the CPUC only approved $941 million, and none of them are in our area. So this means that as customers, we are going to be paying increased rates for undergrounding, but none of our lines will be placed underground. And you can get information on SCE's grid hardening program and their progress at sce.com/grid hardening, all one word. So please keep an eye on the feeder and the City of Villa Park social media for a list of other resources, and I will be working with the city on getting those out as I am able to. And then I just wanted to give a really quick report on USA 250, because after over a year of planning, we are really geared up and ready to celebrate our nation's 250th. So I just wanted to thank again the Villa Park Women's League for painting the fire hydrants in this city, which will stay up well past the 4th of July to add patriotic flair to our city. Thank you again to Mayor Pro Tem Frackleton, Mayor Jordan Wu, and Boy Scout Troop 850 for putting up the patriotic bunting, but more thanks for the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem for maintaining the bunting. So I know they have been out on a few different occasions to kind of patch it up as it's blown over or become detached. So I really do appreciate that. It's very respectful. It makes our city look really nice. And thank you to Mark Kulai and Carly Rabin for helping me to execute my idea for the little boulevard flags. We have been replacing the flags that have broken off due to the wind, so please let me know if you see one that is damaged, but I have been doing my own patrols to make sure that they're staying in good repair. And even people who don't live here, I've gotten several comments from people even outside of Villa Park on how wonderful it is to see such a great patriotic display in our city. And so I'm very proud to see how our council and residents have come together through the Villa Park Community Services Foundation and the Villa Park Women's League to bring all these ideas to life. So thank you so much.
All right. You found your notes?
I did, but it's getting late. So I am just going to say congratulations to all the grads. And if you are going on to a 4-year or a 2-year or a trade, or maybe you're just graduating from elementary to junior high and junior high to high school, have a safe, wonderful summer. Super excited about our 4th of July celebration. I would like the foundation, maybe some point, to give consideration to doing a city-run fireworks display event, or fireworks, what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
The big Disneyland type.
Maybe not big Disneyland type, but perhaps doing something along the lines, Orange isn't doing it anymore, and of course we could maybe borrow something, but how great would it be if Foundation started that as, 250 going on, to, maybe they could make it to the next 50 years. But that would be a suggestion, because everything that has been done is just amazing. And I think I've seen the bunting on homes too. So everyone's jumping on. I think that's fantastic. And I know that I think the Kelly, the owner of thank you. This is what happens when you turn to me. 57. He wanted bunting, and I don't know if it ever got up or not. So, put Forrest on a ladder. He's tall. Anyways, so I had said I would convey that, but I think you were gone when it happened. I think you were in Europe when that happened. But anyways, so it's been so wonderful to see the city. So I want to thank all the entities, and I believe they've been mentioned before. So I ditto all of that. And I'm looking forward to Saturday, July 4th. Tomorrow night, the ACCOC Golden Hubs of Innovation, the annual report on the status of women and girls was nominated for an award. So we'll see if the commission wins or not. So I will be there tomorrow night. And then I was honored by Assemblyman Phil Chin for 8 years of service to the city. So that was very nice. That happened last Friday as well. So again, thanks to all those who have participated in the 250. It's amazing, and happy birthday, America. That's it. Happy 4th of July. Oh, and happy Father's Day for all those that were dads. So sorry. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. So okay, bye. That's it.
Okay. Mayor Wu always amazes me. He has these ideas that I kind of think, what? I don't get it. But then this Graduates Rising event he had here in June 2nd, I thought was really terrific. It was really great. He invited all the Villa Park kids who were graduating from high school to come in their full regalia, and he recognized each one of them, took pictures, and that was really a great event. Thank you for doing that. Councilwoman Jones, thank you for all the flags. I love the little flags around town. It's really great. In early June, we lost another. It seems like every council meeting we have another big founder, big name in Villa Park that we lose. And this month it was Sherry Zakowitz, who was the founder and first president of the Villa Park Women's League, a definite face on the Mount Rushmore of Villa Park. And Mayor, if you're so willing, I hope you can adjourn tonight's meeting in her honor. And I'm really glad she got to be in that Declaration of Independence video that Chris Jones helped edit and so forth. Okay, on June 5th, I got to sit in on a debrief with the fire chief having to do with the closed session and the upcoming labor contract, and can't really speak about it, but it's going to be voted on this Thursday in the open session. On June 6th, we had the Interact Club graduation here in this room, and that went very well. It was great. Chad Zimmerman and Ola Saadi did a great job, and Marjan Roshinger. June 17th, I mentioned when I went to the OCFA graduation. On Father's Day, I forced my children to go around and fix bunting. That was the Father's Day gift. And then, of course, a few hours later, it was wiped out by a Cybertruck, part of it. And then yesterday, I played in the Orange County Firefighters Charity Golf Tournament to raise money for their Fallen Firefighters Fund at OCFA. I did not win, but I had a great time. That's it.
All right, thank you. For my attendance, as I mentioned, beginning of the meeting, I attend the OUSD Exposition of Arts. May 29th, I have attended OCFA Best and the Bravest Awards. That is always a fun event to attend and see our firefighters and sometimes law enforcement also. June 2nd is Mayor Pro Tem and also Council Member Miles were there celebrating the Villa Park kids' graduation. They are not all coming from Villa Park High School. They all graduate from different high school. And June 6th, I also attend the Rotary recognitions and inductions. So that's what I have done. And if we could just play VPE School, I believe this is the 5th grade?
I believe that is correct.
5th grade students reading the Declaration of Independence.
Them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them.
A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights.
That among these are liberty, life, and pursuit of happiness.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
And to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form.
After them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for life and transient causes.
And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. but with a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object.
Events are designed to reduce them under absolute despotism.
It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government.
And to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies.
And such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government.
The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations.
All having a direct object, the establishment of an absolute tyranny over the states.
To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world.
And refuse to assent to laws the most wholesome and necessary for the public good.
He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance.
Unless suspended and their operation till his assent should be obtained.
And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them.
He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people.
Unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature.
A right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only.
He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures.
He has dissolved representative houses of Guinea for opposing him with manly firmness in his evasions of the rights of people.
He has refused for a long time, after such disillusions, to cause others to be elected.
Whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation have returned to the people at large for their exercise.
The state remained, in the meantime, exposed to all the dangers of invasions from without and convulsions within.
He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states.
For that purpose, obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners,
refusing to pass others and encourage the migrations hither, and raising conditions on new appropriations of lands.
He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers.
He has made the judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries.
He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms to officers to harass our people and eat out their substance.
He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislators. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power.
he has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction forgiven to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws.
Giving his assent to their acts to pretend as legislation.
For quartering large bodies of armed troops among us.
For protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states.
Cutting off our trade with all parts of the world.
For imposing taxes on us without our consent.
For depriving us in many cases of the benefits of child library.
For transporting us beyond seas to be tried for intended offenses.
For abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province.
Establishing therein an arbitrary government and enlarging its boundaries.
As to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies.
Particularly our charters abolishing our most valuable laws and altering fundamentally the forms of our governments.
For suspending our own legislators and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate us for all cases whatsoever.
He has a dictator government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us.
He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coast, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people.
He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, expulsion, and tyranny.
Already begun the circumstances of cruelty and perfidy, scars and parallel of the most glorious ages.
And totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation.
He has constrained our fellow citizens taken and captured on the high seas to bear arms against the country, to become the executioner of the friends and brethren or fall himself by their hands.
He has excited domestic insurrections among us,
and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers.
Whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages and conditions.
In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble church. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury.
A prince's character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant.
is unfit to be the ruler of a free people.
Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren.
We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us.
We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement.
We've appealed to their native justice and magnanimity.
And we have conjured them by the guise of our common kindred to reach about these institutions, which will inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence.
They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity.
We must therefore acquiesce the necessity which denounces our separation,
And hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war and peace friends.
We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assemble, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions.
Do in the name by authority of good people of these colonies.
Solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be free and independent states.
That they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them, the state of Great Britain,
is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce,
And to do all other acts and things which independent states and may of right do for the support of this declaration, the firm alliance and the protection of divine governance.
We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor.
We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honors. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people.
All right, that's, we should have dressed up like that.
We should dress up.
Thank you. Now we will adjourn the meeting in memory of Sherry Zakowitz. Sorry. Until our next regular city council meeting on July 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Yeah, I'm sorry, 6:30. Thank you. I did I see it? 6:30. And thank you for participating this evening. We are here to invite everyone to come out next Saturday to celebrate our great nation, USA 250's July 4th extravaganza starting at 9 a.m. See you all there.